All right, folks, just waiting for Schwartz to get in here. He should be popping in any minute now.
Boom.
Hola, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the stream. We are live here. Let me quickly send you the link to see. I tried to make it public so that you could see it. It looks like it's working, but
Do, 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 do.
it says now live on your channel. The Fantasy Ubo podcast.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hate ESPN. Why does ESPN rolling these like auto? ESPN as a whole, I think, has gone in the toilet. That's something that we can talk about at some point. Entirety of ESPN is just garbage
They
now.
also ruined their app. Like for college football now, unless it's an ESPN game, they don't even show like the drive breakdown until after the game. It's kind of crazy. Um,
Man,
but I think we.
not a fan of the website. Not a fan. Content. Not a fan of Mad Dog. Don't need Mad Dog in my life.
You love Mad Dog.
Guy's a fucking lunatic. In time.
Should we jump in?
Let's go, man. Let's get it going.
All right.
Fantasy OO Pod. What are we in week? We're in game week 7. Wrapped game week 6. A lot of wild cards were played. A couple triple captains were played. Lots of, but I had a bad week and somehow went up. So,
See, the thing
you
is,
know,
you didn't have a bad week. I mean, we both ended up on 60. We both played our wild cards, which I think we kind of revealed last week. But we both ended up on very similar teams, even though we didn't really talk about it. And then we both ended up on 60 points, which was like middle-ish of the pack for the league, but everyone below us didn't do as well. It was like basically the top half scored like 60 and above, and the bottom half did not. The top five didn't. There's only one change in the top five. The top four stayed the same. James with 66 points, stayed in first place. Milady led the league in scoring with 73, cut into James's lead a little bit. He's at 381. Neil at 368, 13 points behind Milady at the 68 point week. Bowman stayed in fourth place, 15 behind Neil with 15 or 69 points. And then Mintz cracks the top five for the first time this year. He's the new entrant. 63 points. He's at 337 overall. Only 15 points, I think, ahead of me, and I'm in ninth place. So, like, 5 to 9 is fairly bunched. His week was saved by Holland. He triple captained Holland, and his brace in stoppage time basically gave him an extra 39 points this week. So he was he was looking in tough shape on his triple captain, and then Holland bangs 2 goals and gets the full bonus. I guess that's extra 33 points, not an extra 39. But yeah, he actually, as part of his moves, he subbed out Thiago for Gyökeres an 11 point deduct, like 11 points less than if he had just started Thiago. And then he subbed out Nico Williams for Gabriel, but benched Gabriel, and Gabriel scored a goal and would have been a 12 point improvement had he started
yeah.
him. So he could have easily had like another 23. He could have had an enormous week, but he didn't. So win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I saw the Gabriel goal, I was pissed because I decided to go with Saliba and I saw that and I was like, oh, God. And then, like, a lot of people didn't start him. And I was like, wow. Like, That's amazing. Okay. Didn't take the hit that I thought I was going to take.
I mean, not starting him wasn't a bad move, and like I know he scored a goal, but like the reason to not start him, right, is that you didn't think he was going to get a clean sheet, and he didn't get a clean sheet, right? I guess that's why you pay the premium for Gabriel because he can score goals. I benched him too, so I'm trying to justify my benching
Yeah.
of him, but yeah,
When I say bad week with me, it's because I picked up Saliba. Saliba didn't start. And I picked up, much like you did as well, I picked up Odin for 1 point.
yeah,
Up Reinders for 2. Picked up Kudus for 2. Isak for 2. So I got 60, but the lion's share of that was and picked up Raya for 2. So Senesi did something and Holland did something. So in terms of like my new acquisitions, I got points there.
yeah.
It was good. But overall, from like a wild card, not a lot to write home about. Yeah, luckily, again, some folks didn't start Gabriel, so that helped out a lot. Finally got a Champions League win, which was nice.
Yeah.
Um,
I did
that
not. I did not. Oh,
that felt good.
I'm in
Actually,
last place.
I have two wins. I have 2 wins now, so I'm 2-1-3. But um,
Yeah.
again, that goes just down to the matchups, right? I played Glenn Almquist, who put up a 28. So
Glenn,
need more of the
Glenn was our bum of the week. He, as you said, he had 28 points. His only marks came from the Bournemouth pair of Senesi and Semenyo. And he fell 8 spots in the main league from 9th to 17th place. So tough week for Glenn. He earns.
And you mentioned Mark gaining a little ground. What is interesting is both with Mark and with James, Enzo continues to produce. No matter how much we don't believe he can do it, the guy continues to produce. Put up a 9, goal scored, 2 bonus. He's gone. I mean, let's see. Over the course of the season, he's gone 3, 10, 12, 4, 1, 9. So guy his G of 1.5 in the Brighton game, and they had a red card that game. They were down the majority of.
Yeah.
Wehi
Yeah.
assist, DefCon. It goes up against Liverpool. What a moment! Goes up the team he almost joined, beats them, gets the assist, gets the DefCon, continues to produce. That guy's a monster this year.
He should have had a clean sheet. The Liverpool goal shouldn't have counted. I don't know if you saw it. I mentioned it in the notes later, so I can scratch that. But Salah had a handball. Like he did the hand of God and like touched the ball, and the ref didn't call it. And even on VAR, the ref didn't call it. I mean, it wasn't quite hand God. He didn't punch it in, but it basically like he hit it with his hand and it threw Richards off, and he had a bad header away, and then Chiesa scored. Um, and Richards even
Yeah.
commented it on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call that, after the games, like with a picture of Salah's handball, saying, "I knew I wasn't just seeing something out there," so he couldn't believe it.
Speaking of handballs, the Arsenal handball
Oh yeah,
is just an all-time handball. Don't know what we're doing anymore as a society. When Gabriel slides, puts his arm up, blocks the shot,
yeah,
and it's not a penalty. Like what what are we doing? When the dinkiest little like arm here, blah blah there counts as a handball, arm up away from the body, blocks it, no handball. Like I don't know what a handball is anymore. We've reached that phase of like handballs where we don't know what a catch is in the NFL. It's the same deal. Like we've entered this minutia, or I don't even know what it is. It's just we've lost the plot of like clear handball penalty. I don't know.
it's very true. It's very true. We'll get in. Well, let's just run through a couple more fantasy notes, and then we'll get into the games, and we can dissect a little bit more.
I got one random fantasy note. James also, while he is the top of the table, continues to ride his luck, where his bench
Yeah,
was -3, minus 3 in Chalaba, -1 in Bruno.
yeah,
I mean, Ekitike obviously wasn't going to play anyway, but The Chilean maestro continues to pull the strings, getting things done the right
he's
way.
he's picking the right guys right now. He's like every benching decision he's made, he's getting it right. Like it's unbelievable. The thing I'll say is like it also feels unsustainable to be able to like bench Bruno in a game against Brentford. He gets a penalty and misses the penalty, and he benched him. Or like he's been playing Chalobah every week. He benches Chalobah against Brighton, and he gets a red card. Like look, he's pulling the strings. Like his brother is proven to be a
There's
really
something
good
in the
manager
water.
in real. Yeah, there's something in the water in the Varas household.
It's
uh,
amazing.
yeah, two other fantasy notes for our league this week. Transfer of the week: Giratano went Mateta to Holland, captain Holland, for a 14-point difference by going Mateta to Holland, and then an extra 14 by captaining Holland instead of Salah. So basically, a 28-point transfer for Giratano. And then on the flip side, the bum transfer of the week was Milady. He transferred out Sean Longstaff to bring in Anton Stach, and Longstaff went for 15. So a minus 13 point difference there. And Milady was the leading point scorer this week. So if he had, and that's with taking Longstaff off his team, so he could have had an enormous week there.
Wow. Who would have thought? What did Long? I haven't even looked. Does Longstaff done
No,
anything
nothing,
other
nothing.
than
And
that?
that's why he took him out for step. Like it was a good transfer. Like when you think about, if you look at like how they had performed the first 5 weeks, it was the right. I didn't even know anyone owned Sean Longstaff. Like that's unbelievable that he was even on Milady's team to begin with. So transferring him out, I thought was a good move.
Yeah.
Just general fantasy notes. Holland, continues to be the standout choice overall. But my stat of the week: the highest scoring midfielder and defender in fantasy right now through 6 weeks play for what team, Schwartz? Do you know?
Say that again.
The highest scoring midfielder and the highest scoring defender in fantasy play for the same team. Do you know who that team is?
At
It's
Bournemouth,
Bournemouth, yeah. So,
Messi and Semenyo.
yeah, yeah. They are, they're also not only the leading midfielder and the leading defender, they're the second and third highest fantasy scorers overall after Holland. Um, Additionally, the highest scoring goalkeeper right now. Do you know what team he plays for?
High scoring goalkeeper. Not gonna look at anything. High scoring goalkeeper. It might be gonna be definitely not Raya.
it's not.
Definitely
It's
gonna.
not right.
Oh, okay. I think it is Sunderland. I don't
It
know.
is. It is.
It
Ruffs.
is.
Yeah. Ruffs on Sunderland is the highest scoring
Wow.
goalkeeper. He's on 39
What?
points. Yeah. If you had asked me before who Sunderland's goalkeeper was, I wouldn't have been able to tell you his name. But
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
Roth. Yeah, he looks like a Roths
yeah,
too.
it's just
Looked him up.
a very,
10. He's gone 8, 1, 8, 10, 10.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, a wild 6 weeks. And then the other crazy stat of the week, which wasn't my stat of the week, it's my sub stat of the week. Salah is not, through 6 weeks, is not the highest scoring midfielder on Liverpool. That award goes to Gravenbrack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Salah, like we've talked about it.
yeah, yeah.
Odds of previous. His point total in itself is inflated because he's been getting like gifted penalties and other things. Like
Yeah.
he basically should be almost on like 2 assists, and that's really it. So his point totals are off to a rough start.
Yeah, and speaking of Liverpool and Salah, why don't we start right there to talk about some games from this past week? Liverpool picked up their first loss of the season, losing 2-1 to Palace. Pool, we talked about it last week. They're kind of late game magic. Well, they were finally on the wrong side of a stoppage time goal. Eddie Nketiah at the death to secure the victory for Palace. Like I said earlier, Pool's goal, which was even then was scored late. I think it was like the 85th minute when Chiesa scored for them. Shouldn't have even counted. via a Salah handball. Last week in our predictions of the week, I did predict Palace to win, but I predicted 1-0, not 2-1. I'll give myself a B plus on that. Um, Palace were the better team. They had it was a 3.8 to 255 xG. So if you're looking at the bright side as a Liverpool owner, they had an xG of 255 and only scored one goal. Salah, Verts, and Isak all had over 0.04 xG as individuals. So some kind of silver lining there if you're an owner to maybe get one coming up. But man, Liverpool expected goals against 3.18. Konate!
Yeah.
Their defense is bad. We've been talking about this since the beginning of the year. Their defense is bad.
I would like to pat ourselves on the back, calling out Konate as this hole in their back line from day one.
Yeah.
If you go back and lip read that first pod,
Yeah.
it's perfect. We called exactly this, and he just gets, instead of going from strength to strength, he goes from like dud to dud because like he's an absolute blight in that back line. They do not look, and as you know, if you're going to grind out wins, if your offense is sputtering, what do you need? You need an elite defense to lock things down so you can grind out those 1-0 wins when you don't have it going forward. And right now they don't have it in the back either. Like it's a leaky ship.
No, and even not even grinding out wins, it's like holding on at the end of games, right? If it's like 2-1, do you trust Konate? This is part of the reason they've been fighting back and having to score so many late goals because they've been giving up goals. Like the Newcastle game, they were ahead by a man, and Newcastle was able to pull even with them. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and they got Szoboszlai playing right back. They're in this like they spent all this money on Isak, on Verts, on Kirkez,
and Frimpong.
and Frimpong, and they spent all that money, like an elite level of money, like, and they're in patchwork mode, and you're kind of like, what's going on here? Like this is wild.
I think we even said it in that first week. They should not have been focused on buying Isak and going like through back channels telling him to sit out. They should have been doing that with Guehi.
Yeah, as well.
Like if they had Guehi to pair with Van Dijk, and they still might get Guehi in January, who knows? But if they had Guehi and Van Dijk, I'd be handing them the title right now because that would be like an elite pairing at center back.
You're 100% correct. Like that is going back to the old days of like again Ferdinand and Vidic or like John Terry and Carvalho, like just elite 1-2 pairings at center back that just were impenetrable.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like I don't have the stats in front of me, but I feel like those Chelsea teams, those United teams were just an absolute unit in the back, and it starts with those first two guys. If Van Dijk can he can do 19 DEF CONs and win 1 million headers, but if they take on Konate and spin him into the ground, like there's nothing you could do.
Well, that's why they need Van Dijk to get 19 DEF CONs because his partner is terrible.
Yeah. And he's probably like, you're killing my fantasy stock. I'm here putting up DEF CONs left and right. I'm getting transferred out because I get 1 to 2 points every game, 3 points. A 6.1.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. Next game, City 5, Burnley 1. Holland 2 goals in stoppage time to reward everyone, like I said, who triple captained him or even just brought him in on their wild card. He also just had a brace yesterday in Champions League. As you mentioned before, Foden and Rangers were a little bit disappointing to not mark in a 5-goal game for City. I'm personally not worried about them. They both hit the woodwork in Champions League this week. They're still a big part of Pep's plan, part of the offense. They're going to come good. I can feel that one. Another popular fantasy pick for City is Gvardiol. He blanked against Burnley, but had an assist in Champions League. So I think City are kind of hitting their stride. They're getting everyone healthy, putting out like Pep's finding his 11. Doku looks great on the outside. I know it was Burnley, her promoted side, so not necessarily a surprise that City took him to the woodshed. But I feel like City are on the up. Holland feels like he might be back into form from 2 years ago, and I think they're in 7th place right now, but I think only 2 games basically behind Liverpool. I think they're going to mount a charge. So, um, yeah.
Something interesting about Burnley, though, that kid Anthony
Yeah.
continues to
Yeah.
produce for them.
He's
He's gone 2, 13, 6, 3, 10, 6. He's
the,
got 4 goals already in assists.
the only midfielder who's outscored him is Semenyo. He's second in the league as a midfielder.
Yeah. The 5'7". That guy's
Enzo's third, I think. I think it goes Semenyo, Anthony, and Enzo.
I have it pulled up right here. Semenyo, Anthony, Enzo, Caicedo, Gravenberch,
Yeah.
Garner from Everton.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the non-murderers row of, you know,
So,
in the past that would have been 100% Salah, Saka,
Palmer.
I mean, Palmer, yeah, you name it. Like, and then below Salah is Cullen from Burnley and Stack or Statch, however you say it, from Leeds.
Yeah.
So literally, like, this is the world we're living in right now, where
Yeah.
the premiums are not producing at all, and it's these mid-tier guys. The most expensive being Semenyo, who started at what? He started a 7.5. Now he's a 7, or did he start at 7?
I think he started at 7.
Started at 7. Like his appetite, the appetite for him has been, yeah, he started at 7, so strong that in 6 weeks he's gone up 0.8. That's got to be a record in terms of like growth. But it's a mid-tier player's game right now.
He's had a tremendous. There was, I think, the year that Salah first came into the Prem at Liverpool, he was like a 9 or like an 8 or a 9 to start the season, and just started on fire. And then he went up like, I think, a full 1.5 in like a few weeks. And then there was the 4.0 defender from the promoted side. I'm blanking on him. He kept scoring goals though. It was not.
Lundstrom?
Yeah, Lundstrom. He went up a ton. Yeah, Lundstrom.
Sheffield United.
From Sheffield.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Semenyo's been on fire. Again, it's like Bournemouth. They lost Kirkez. They're able to like continue moving, playing well.
They lost that guy Zabarny, who went to PSG.
Yeah.
This is the funny thing. Like, these teams lose players and they somehow get better. Man United is like a team who buys players and gets worse. Like, we can maybe transition to United real quick. They sold their best player. Brentford sold their best player to United and then turned around and beat them 3-1.
Yeah.
Like, that is such an amazing just like turn of events of like, yeah, give us all your money, we'll give you him, and then we're gonna beat you. Like,
yeah.
Oof.
And Amorim still hasn't won back-to-back Prem games since taking over at United. We mentioned Fernandez missing a penalty. I guess the only silver lining for them is that at least Sesko finally scored in the Prem for them. But like, we're into October right now. United have 7 points through 6 games. They're in 14th place. They have a goal differential of -4. This isn't some bad luck. Like, they're just not a good team. And then they're in 14th place, and right behind them in the standings are Aston Villa and Newcastle. And I'd be willing to wager a tremendous amount of money right now that both of them end up higher than United at the end of the season. Like, and
100%.
There are teams that United are behind that they'll finish ahead of just because of the amount of just who's on their team and how much money they have and how much money they've spent. But I mean, if they finish ahead, it wouldn't shock me if they finish 12th, 13th. Like, they're a mid-table at best side.
If you can't string together 2 wins in a row, you suck. Suck. Like, I'm sorry, you suck.
Yeah, I mean, like,
that's
group them
terrific.
like, and this is no shade on these other teams because of their budget, but like, just group them in that like Everton, Fulham, like pack there in the middle. That's like, you're not going to get relegated. You're not going to sniff Europe.
No.
And then Brentford dominated the game. Like Brentford 3-1. Like, I know Fernandez missed a penalty, but like, man, unbelievable.
And like, look, I see people talking and harping on like, well, United have the best XG of any other team, but like, okay, great, you got great XG. I don't know, you're still not converting, and you're at a minus 4 goal differential. Like,
Yeah,
Not good.
I mean, maybe and I haven't looked at their XGA stats, but like, you can have all the XG in the world, but if you're giving up goals every game, like the XG doesn't matter at a certain point. And like, maybe over the long run, them having good XG will finally find maybe that they'll finish in the top half, but like they're not gonna make Europe, which is insane when you think about how much money they've spent and what their expectations are.
Well, that's another thing, right? Like, look, they went out and who did they buy? They bought Seshko, they bought Cunha and Mbumo.
Yeah,
So they strengthened their attack. They went hard on attack.
yeah,
They started Dorgu, Shaw, Maguire, Delit, Gallo. This has not proven to be an elite defense
no,
at all.
no.
At all.
And they
So
haven't
like
been. They haven't been since.
and so if unless Cunha, Bumo, and Seshko are scoring 4 goals a game and you're winning 4-3, 4-2, they're just gonna keep losing. They're gonna lose to Brentford 3-1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These guys aren't gonna get it done back there. They're just not.
The fact that Shaw and Maguire are still starting for United tells you all you need to know about their defense. Like, they're not good anymore. Maybe Shaw never was. I know you've never been a big fan of his, but like,
No, he's great when he gets going. He just gets hurt all the time.
yeah,
You can't invest any time or effort into him because you just know like, oh, you're gonna be hurt and gonna be out for another like 9 months. So it's like, all right, cool. You come in, you put in 4 performances, and they're good performances, but then you're gonna be out. So like, I don't know. It's like what's his name that used to be on United? The big burly dude. He came from Blackburn a long time ago. He had a head. He looks like an Easter Island guy, like a head. He's just a tank.
it wasn't
I
Foreign.
think you were.
He was.
No, I wasn't playing that guy. English guy.
Uh,
I'm blanking on his name. He was always so solid, but then he'd get hurt for just like
yeah,
years on end. Then he'd come back and he'd put in a great performance. You'd have to go. He'd be injured again. You're just like, all right, look, you're good, but
yeah. No, well,
what
we'll
what are we doing here?
yeah, we'll wrap the prem and then we'll come back to a new segment we have that's called the Mick Tom Minute as a preview. We'll come back to that in a minute. But just moving along within the prem, Spurs won, Wolves won. Disappointing, I'd say, from Spurs on the weekend, especially for me. I had double Spurs defense. Um, Not much to really talk about on the fantasy front from both of us. Kudus had a blank, but had an XGI of 0.46, so bit of hope for us there, and that he's kind of, you know, you string together a few of those types of performances, and you're going to hit the sheet one way or another. So, but disappointing to
Yeah,
draw against Wolves, considering Wolves are bottom of the table. Would like to see Spurs get 3 from that one, but still solid start to the season for Spurs. One Champions League game this week, right? They won 2-0.
yeah, and then we're in a little bit of a sputter at the moment. Like I think we have 3 draws out of the last 4. Drew in Champions League midweek. A draw against Wolves. Like having to come like we were down 2 to Brighton, came back 2-2. So we're showing a lot of fight. Um, we were down
You're
against
down to
Wolves,
Wolves.
came back,
Yeah.
grinded out the point. We were down against Bodo Glimt, down 2, came back, tied it up. But like again, just kind of like Liverpool, there's only so long you can grind out these comebacks, and you need to start imposing ourselves back on teams.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Kudus played, went 90 against Wolves. What did he do? I want to check real quick what he did against Bodo. I don't think he played. He did. No, he didn't play. He subbed in. When did he sub in? I'm only looking at that for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
For our
Yeah.
from a fantasy perspective, I want to know when he came. He came on in the 60th. Okay, so he's
He'll
still
play.
fresh legs
Yeah, he'll play
coming
this
in.
weekend for sure.
Yeah, but we're sputtering.
Yeah.
We need a result this week because there's only so long you can grind out these wins. Yes, in years past we would have lost all 3 games. Like with Big Ange last year, those are 3 losses, and then we're having to defend ourselves of like blah 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 who we are, and who we were was sucky.
Yeah.
So Leeds this weekend on Saturday away could be scrappy, but we need to win that.
Yeah, and it's not like Leeds have a great defense. I like where we're at with Kudus for both of us there. Um, Newcastle won, Arsenal two last. Was that the Monday? No, that was the Sunday game. That was the Sunday game. 2-1 Arsenal. Schwartz, you predicted Wolfmade, however you say his name, to score, and he hit the sheet. But your Newcastle win prediction ended up falling short, but still kind of like 1 out of 2 there, so pretty good. Um,
I mean, it was looking pretty good for a
yeah,
long
it
time.
was. It
And
was.
and then again, that handball, again, nothing to do with any existing preconditions of Tottenham fan and Arsenal, but like a handball. I'm sorry. That's it. That's 100 out of 100 times it's a handball. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand how that's not called. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, from a fantasy perspective, defense on Arsenal, I mean, Saliba, Raya, Gabriel conceded. Gabriel, like we said, scored a goal. Yorker is blanked for Arsenal as well. Gabriel appeared to pick up a bit of a knock yesterday in Champions League. Early reporting that I've seen is that it's not that serious, um, but we'll see if he starts this weekend. Arsenal have the dreaded Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. So Sunday in the Prem, Wednesday in Champions League, Saturday in the Prem game. So um, it's a triple Arsenal holder right now with Yorker as Gabriel and Raya. I'm not super confident. I mean, Raya will play obviously, but I don't know. Gabriel sounds like he'll probably not play. I'll probably start him anyway, just in case Arteta puts him in. But I would not be
I
shocked
think
if Yorker.
Arsenal are one of the hardest clubs to suss out whether a player is actually injured or
Yeah,
not. The amount of times that I've been screwed on Saka having a knock being yellow, then he comes in and he scores and plays like 90. I'm like, everything was tracking towards him being injured and out, and now he's starting. So, yeah, to your point, starting Gabriel is probably the way to go until otherwise, because I'm sure he's fine.
yeah. The only thing that makes me think he probably like if he has a bit of a knock, this is the week to sit him. Is that they have international break right after, and they can probably like prevent him from going on international break because he's injured. If he especially if he doesn't play this weekend, and they kind of keep
Yeah.
him like get him fully healthy and get him back right after.
And West Ham sitting him for West Ham would be the play because
Yeah,
West Ham are not good. So they should conceivably they should be able to win without him.
yeah,
Yeah, but we'll have to see. One encouraging thing for those Gyökeres owners, I don't know if you saw how they created their first goal in Champions League, but um, hustle out of the big fella.
yeah,
He
yeah.
sprinted in there, created problems. And then, obviously Martinelli, who is a great Champions League fantasy asset, not so much in the Prem, was able to score again. But for those Gyökeres owners, like, you want to look for those little nuggets out there to be like, where's the confidence level? And that's just a great, like, hustle. I'm going to beat you to the ball. I'm just going to outwork you. And more often than not, when you see those things start to build, it can lead to those scrappy goals that help build confidence and go from there.
The other interesting thing about that
Oh, that.
goal was that Martinelli waited for the ball to like bounce off the post before tapping it in. So he was like was wanting Yorkeres to get the goal if it was going to go in. You like to see that from
Yeah.
like a teammate if you're a fantasy owner of the other guy.
Yeah.
Just a general Premier League shout out to Sunderland. The Black Cats are fifth in the table through 6 games. I mean, I'm I don't think that they're going to end up in Europe next year, but either way, a much better start from the promoted sides this year compared to last year. Sunderland have been the best of the bunch, like I said. They're in fifth.
Yeah.
Leeds are in the top half. Burnley not so much, but just solid play from Sunderland so far, mainly from their defense. But good start for them this year.
And they got Man United coming up. So a nice, comfortable fixture
Yeah, exactly.
against Man United.
Exactly. Uh, the Mick Tom Minute, and we'll try to keep it fairly brief because we've talked a lot about United. This is highlighting Man United players who have rejuvenated their careers after leaving, named after none other than Scott McTominay, who went from outcast at United to Ballon d'Or finalist at Napoli. First on our list, Marcus Rashford, picked up an assist for Barcelona in Champions League this week. He's seemingly playing great. Had another, like you mentioned to me, he had a great ball to Lamal that I think didn't end up leading to anything, but just kind of being an
To a
engine
foul
of
that he hit like a 60-yard peach diagonal ball into Lamal. He tried to beat a guy. They fouled him top of the box, so it created an opportunity. Lamal ended up pounding it way over the top, but like Rashford was Megan guys.
yeah,
He got a great assist. Like the announcer said it in that game. Like at United, in that when he got that assist, in United, he probably would have put his head down and tried to dribble the guy and shoot. He's like, he's at Barca. He's got better players around him. He's got a different mentality. So he looks up. He plays a great first time ball into Ferran Torres. He slots it home. I mean, he's had 3 or 4 assists. He's scored goals.
yeah,
He's starting every game. Like the McTom minute is just basically like it's amazing how, and it really started for me when Anthony left and went to Betis, and Anthony was an absolute joke at United. Like all the memes of him like growling and doing all this stuff, and he just never produced. He literally went to Betis and became like a cult hero at Betis.
yeah,
Like when he signed a few weeks ago officially, like they threw a parade for him. Like the guy's a hero, and he produces. He scored again. He had 1-1 against Forest in the Europa League.
yeah,
He continues to produce over and over again. Rasmus Højlund scored 2 goals in Champions League yesterday. So, and McTominay, he had the aptly named McTominay. He hasn't had obviously the season that he had last year, but these guys leave United. They are thriving.
yeah,
So it's an interesting
yeah,
dynamic. We're gonna focus on this. They're always going to be a McTom minute because these guys are producing everywhere they go, and we want to be able to highlight that because it's just frankly funny.
yeah.
They're horrific for United. They leave, same player, instant impact elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll be a recurring segment. On to our MLS corner. Another week, another LAFC win, and a week of favorable results for them. Don't look now. They're on 53 points through 30 games there. 2 points behind third place Minnesota, but they have 2 games in hand on them. They're 4 points behind Vancouver with 1 game in hand, and 4 points behind San Diego with 2 games in hand on San Diego. So, if they win their next, like, quote unquote, 2 games, or if everyone wins out from here on out, which won't happen, they'd be in second place, 1 point behind Vancouver. So, the last 4 games of the year for LAFC, if they get 4 wins, they'll probably win the West.
We have Atlanta. LAFC have Atlanta coming up this Sunday. Atlanta's second from bottom.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
optimism is there to get a quick result.
No,
Yeah, and I had the benefit of going to watch. I always like to throw a little shade at the Galaxy. Last night went to the Campeones Cup against Toluca, and horrific stadium to get to. My God, like it takes an hour and a half to get there. Parking's train wreck. It's just everything about the stadium is old. Like everything the Galaxy stink. So they score. They go up 2-1. Toluca proceed to score 3 goals from the same play. Crosses, back post, header, cross back. One of them was called away for offside, but Toluca win in like the 92nd minute or something like that. And there was more Toluca fans there than there were Galaxy fans. Nobody in the stadium from the Galaxy. And that's why they're bottom. So just wanted to throw a little shade out there to the Galaxy folks. Stink.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, just love to see it. Love to see that. The LAFC beat St. Louis 3-0 on the weekend. Sun had a brace. Belonga had the other goal. They closed September with a perfect 4-0 record. Great moment as an LAFC fan. Second half, LAFC's up 3-0. Sun's on his brace. LAFC get awarded a penalty. Sun gives the ball to Belonga. Belonga tries to give the ball back to Sun so he can have his hat trick. Sun gives the ball back to Belonga and tells him, "No, you're 1 goal behind Messi. You got to win the Golden Boot." So VAR took the penalty away, probably the right call. But I mean, if that story about the two guys who are the top scorers on the team just like giving the ball back and forth to each other, not because nobody wanted to take it, but because they wanted the other one to get the goal for a variety of reasons. I mean, it doesn't get you bought in to be a fan of this team and where they're at right now. Nothing will. So, unbelievable stuff. I think I said it
Yeah, it's
last week.
nice.
Yeah, we're in a good
It's
spot.
the relationship you never knew you needed,
Yeah,
but that's the one.
yeah,
Like we used to have Brangelina, we used to have J Lo and Ben Affleck. Now it's Sonny and Buonga.
yeah.
They're they're the 1-2 punch.
I don't know what their couple name will be. We'll have to workshop that one. Yeah, and
I don't
you
want to
know,
spend on anything. It's too much
yeah,
complications.
the end of August ended with that LAFC San Diego game where San Diego controlled the game. They controlled the midfield. They won it 2-1. Since that game, though, LAFC have been on fire and San Diego struggled a little bit. Hopefully, Mikey will get them going in this last month and get them solid going into the playoffs because I'm hoping for a LA San Diego conference final game at BMO. That will be huge. I think the biggest hindrance I think right now for the run in for LAFC is this upcoming international break because MLS doesn't stop. They just like keep playing games. I don't know if Sun will miss one or two games for LAFC in the international break, but makes this weekend
You got
against Atlanta huge.
they've, they've got to sort that out. You know what I mean? Like if there's anything that just is indicative of like smaller league is that right there. Like no, everyone else stops, our players go out. Your league's just going to keep going and it's like, well, it's a World Cup year. Like we got to MLS needs to get aligned on this. Like these things aren't problems. Like there's no we need to make sure that schedule look in advance, schedule things accordingly because yeah, a lot of things are going to change can change hands here down the stretch and if you have your teams that are going away because it's a World Cup year, that's going to affect your standing in the
Yeah,
going into the playoffs. Like that's I don't know, it's JV stuff.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Big game this weekend, like you said on Sunday. Um, LAFC need to get the 3 points against Atlanta. So
Yeah, and look, it's classic. Control what you can control. You got two games in hand. You got to do right by them, and then you'll see where the chips fall. But
exactly.
to your point, like we're in a good place. We'll see where we net out. We're obviously gonna try and gain as much ground as possible, but taking the West seems like a bridge too far. But you
It'll
never
be
know.
close. It'll be.
That could happen.
I mean, if they finish 4-0, then Vancouver will have to finish 3-0 to do it. I haven't looked at their schedule, but I
Yeah,
think if with what they have, if they win the games in front of them, it would not surprise me if LA win the West. I mean, at the very least, they come and get in second place and control at least playoff hosting playoff games until the conference finals.
yeah, but it's looking like the Union are gonna take the
Yeah,
supporter
they're gonna take
shield.
the supporters.
Hey, Miami had a shot and they've blown it the last few games, but so it's looking
Yeah,
pretty clear. Like unless the Union just bagel, they're gonna take that.
they'll take it for sure. All right, last segment here. We're gonna try to wrap this up a little bit quicker than we have in the past few
I feel like
weeks.
we've been very concise
This
and
is
quick
tight.
today. I like
It's tight. Yeah.
yeah.
This is our USMNT corner. This morning we got an announcement for the squad for the international break. I'll run through the team and a couple of my thoughts, and then you can hop on in. In goal, we have Matt Freeze, Patrick Schultz, Matt Turner, and Chris Brady. It seems like Freeze, Schultz, and Turner might be like the front runners for the top three for next summer. This was Brady's first international call up for US, so kind of be surprised if he ends up making the team, but maybe we're starting to see some stuff shake out in goal. Um, Defense, we have Max Arpson, Cameron Carter Vickers, Chris Richards, Jedi Robinson, Miles Robinson, Tim Ream, Mark McKenzie, Alex Freeman. Again, feels like we're starting to kind of settle into our choices there as well. Freeman getting a call up is probably the one guy I'll say is probably not going to be on the team come next summer. Dest will be there as long as he's healthy. The other notable that didn't make the roster is Joe Scally. Um, he's having a good season. But it seems like, between Scally, Ream, and those other six guys I mentioned, is probably, and Dest, that's probably going to be like eight of your defenders are going to come from those nine guys, unless someone gets hurt. Um, Reem, I know we've talked about. I don't think that he's a starter and shouldn't be a starter, but I think he could be a really good guy to come off your bench and help you see a game out. As like your last defender. Midfield, this is where I think the roster is a little bit unsettled right now, at least like in this iteration of it. You have Brendan Aronson, Diego Luna, Weston McKinney, Aiden Morris, Christian Roldan, James Sands, Tanner Tessman, and Malik Tillman. I think Yunus Musa, Tyler Adams, Johnny Cardoso are all missing out, not for performance reasons, but you have to think that those three guys will probably all likely be pretty close to being on the roster. Adams' wife is having a baby, or supposed to be having a baby soon. Cardoso's still injured, and I think Musa's just kind of getting back into things as well. Luna's been getting a lot of call-ups recently, so it seems like maybe he's angling to make the team. We'll see. Tessman, I think, has been pretty solid for his club. Tillman's.
I think he scored.
Yeah,
Tessman scored last week.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing for a good club. Like getting PT for like for Lyon is like, he can get a nice rhythm going, especially he's producing as well.
Yeah, and then at forward on this roster we have Ajamon, Balogun, Pulisic, Weah, Haji Wright, and Zendejas. Sargent didn't make the team. That's kind of a notable omission. Pepe is still coming back from injury. Haji Wright is leading the championship in goals for Coventry. It seems like, to me, the last spots might be coming down to Ajame, Pepe, Sargent, and Haji Wright. Feels like Zendejas has a place on the wing. He scored again midweek or last weekend for his club. We've talked about this a lot, and like now it kind of feels like we're getting some sense of what the roster could look like with this team. There's a tremendous amount of talent on this team, and you look at like the leagues that they're playing in. When I think about it, outside of goalie, the like outfield 11, I think that 8 of them are very settled, 9 probable, and then 10 maybe based on an injury. But they all play for top flight clubs in Europe. So in my mind, if like right now you had to get who's your starting 11 now if everyone's healthy, goalie is whatever to me, I don't know. But you've got Dest, Chris Richards, Mark McKenzie, Jedi Robinson as your defense. You got Adams, Tillman, and Cardoso at midfield, and then Pulisic, Balogun, Weah and forward. That's like, I think everyone there except for Cardoso and Weah, if everyone's healthy, is probably like fairly locked in now. Based on how they're playing for their clubs, based on how they've been called up to the national team, where they're getting in spots. So I feel like we're starting to kind of see what the team could look like now that even 2-3 weeks ago, I was like, what is this team going to look like? And now they're kind of settling in. Obviously, we're 6, 7, 8 months away, so a lot can change with injuries and form. But starting to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and again, seeing the talent now, it's about making sure that the talent plays above the sum of their parts.
Yeah, I think seeing this roster, I think I'm very curious. I'd love to see like Chris Richards and Miles Robinson start to really develop like an ironclad like center back.
Isn't Mark McKenzie a center back too, though?
Is he?
I thought he was a center.
Honestly, I've never watched Mark McKenzie before.
Because I think Dest and Jedi are the outside, and then McKenzie, Richards, and Miles are the inside.
Okay, well, it's Chris Richards and one of those two.
Exactly. Either way.
Like one of those, either McKenzie or Robinson need to form like this partnership. So I definitely want to see that. Like we're good on the flanks. Like you got Dest, you got Robinson. They fly down the field. Great skill. We've got that. That's good. But yeah, I'd love to see a center back partnership start to really form outside of anything with Tim Ream. Again, I think he's just there as like old sage, voice in the locker room type of thing. But I can't imagine he's like starting in the World Cup. That would make me, I don't know, I'd be concerned with that. So I'm looking there. I'm very curious to see how Aiden Morris does, if he gets any time, because I've seen a lot of highlights of that kid at Middlesbrough, and he's very creative. like spunky, buzzes, creative, makes things happen. So I'm very curious to see if he gets any run there. Obviously, Tillman further cementing his dominance and his stake in the team. I'm curious. I'm not very high on Roldan
Yeah,
or
that,
Luna. Like
that,
those two guys don't excite me at all. Like Luna's had like enough run, I think, where he's good against Guatemala, he's good against El Salvador, but when it comes to like a step up to anyone of stature, he just disappears. He's like a little ferret, but like I don't know. It doesn't nothing seems to excite me about him other than he just changes his hair a lot and looks like just looks gnarly. Um
Roldan feels like a guy that's on the roster just to fill out 26 and not give like not let someone who's not going to make their team get their hopes up. That they might be on the
yeah.
team. It's just like he's fine for these 2 games, and we know what we got in him, and he's not going to cost us anything in these 2 games. But he's not going to be on the he's not going to play for us in the World Cup next summer.
Yeah, and I want to see Weston step in
Yeah,
these games and like reintroduce himself
yeah.
to the team that he's got the intent to do so because that's really what it comes down to. We know the kid is talented, but do you have the like intent when you're wearing the stars and stripes that you're actually like you really want to step it up and do something for the national team like you were doing a few years ago, like you were an anchor for us and then you fell off. Not sure what happened, but let's start taking this stuff serious and really show your desire to be on the roster A and be an impact player that we know you can be when you're at your full potential. So definitely looking for that as well. And look, like if Haji Wright is scoring a bunch of goals, I'm all for it. We need players that are hungry and can do it and are doing it at like they're peaking at the right time. So good on him for continuing to score a lot of goals. I've never been impressed with him from a national team perspective. I'm going to let go of the last World Cup and just get over it when he subbed in against Iran. But I want him to, look, he's scoring goals, fantastic. I think Balogun needs to be pushed. Um, he kind of cemented himself and then got comfortable. And there hasn't been like this. I know there's been some injuries in there as well, but the spark on him seems to be fading. And I would like Tim Weah again. I saw him in Champions League live. He looks great. Like Pulisic, great stat. Pulisic has more goals and assists in Serie A than Lautaro Martinez. Like, so when you think of like performance at a high level, and you think of like, oh yeah, Lautaro Martinez, Champions League, they've been going to the finals of Champions League, like winning the Scudettos and like just high performing player. He's outperforming him. So that's like, he's doing it for AC Milan. He continues to score week in, week out. Over the weekend, he had a great 1-1. I don't know if you saw it. Like, it was almost Gareth Bale-esque, that run he made down the left, beating guys, crosses it, goal. Fantastic. Again, let's get it going for the national team as well. Show me that hunger. Show us that level of desire when you're playing for the U.S. national team. And look, if he's doing that, we're in a great place. Great place. It's sad to say it comes down to desire. It's like the little things. Like again, in the past, we had a bunch of dudes that weren't half as good as these guys, but they cared 3x more, and that made up the delta. So it's marrying desire with skill, and that's what we need. So a lot of that to come from these games. So I know I've been jaded in the past, but I'm kind of building excitement towards seeing what we can do. I'm getting out of that malaise and like, all right, we can either be a grouch about it and bitch and complain, or let's find some reason to be optimistic. And that's where I'm at as of right now.
That's where I'm kind of coming around the corner there too. It's like, okay, you can kind of see the roster take shape. You see some of the talent. Let's get behind them. Let's, look, let's not turn on them until they give us a reason to turn on them, right? Let's try to build them up. Let's see what they can do together. This is the first time it seems like they've got most of their guys in camp together right now. Let's hopefully get 2 solid performances. I think we're playing Australia and Ecuador. Let's see 2 good performances there. And just, let's build. Let's build on this. Like, let's just keep getting better, keep coming together as a team. And hopefully we
And
can
when you
see
think
some
about
Hodge too.
when you think about an Australia and an Ecuador, you always have to think forward towards your group stage in the World Cup, right? Like there's going to be there's going to be a Portugal, a Brazil, a Germany, a France, a Spain, an England. Like
Probably
those
not.
are all out there. Right?
Probably not for us this year because we get to be in a pot one because we're hosts. I think we
Oh,
have
okay.
yeah. But we might
Either
have
way,
Ecuador and
the
us. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So like we might end up with like two of these
yeah,
Ecuadors and Australias, which are the ones that we have to win.
yeah.
Those are like, so the I like it from a fixture standpoint of mentality of not marquee names, but stepping in and putting in a shift against these teams, beating the teams that we need to beat. So
Yeah.
that's again going super optimistic Schwartz here
Yeah.
on this stuff. That's what I'm looking at.
All right, we kept it under an hour. Impressive stuff. Anything?
We
Anything?
shaved like It's like record shaving of time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we
All
were
right.
blunt as much about United. We kept that one tight. But like we said, international break coming up. So we'll do a deeper dive at the USMNT dedicated podcast. We'll do one more next week, recapping fantasy for this upcoming weekend. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll send these
Oh,
out. Oh,
before we go,
yeah.
we're gonna do our predictions of the
Oh,
week.
yeah. You go first. I didn't do this one. Yeah, I forgot this one. So you do it and I'll
Woo.
comment.
Okay, looking out there, I'm gonna say a spicy one. Gotta be something that's gonna get people riled up. There's a lot of. All right, I think. I mean, just looking at it, I think Chelsea beat Liverpool. I think that
Uh,
one. I think Liverpool go on a 3-game skid. I think Chelsea. I don't predict a shutout in that game at all. I think it's 3-1 Chelsea. Um, uh, it's probably going to be a goddamn goal from Enzo.
yeah.
I'll say that he's going to be involved. And I'm hoping like Caicedo gets an assist. I'm going Enzo goal, one Caicedo assist, 3-1 Chelsea. That's my bold prediction of the.
I don't know if this is bold or not, but I think I'll say it. I think they're going to draw, but my prediction will be that Brentford beats City. I feel like City. It's at Brentford. It'll be like 3-2. City will be ahead 2-1 or 2-0. Brentford will tie it late, and then in stoppage time, City will press for the win, and Brentford will counter and get a late goal. For my, I think 3-2 is my bold prediction of the week. Hopefully, we get 2 marks each from Holland, Rangers, and Foden. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's not what I'm hoping for this
I
weekend, but it feels like that's a game that's a result that will happen to City.
yeah. Okay, I like that. I mean, City's defense doesn't seem
No,
ironclad,
it's
so
not there
I
yet.
can
It's
see.
not there yet, for sure.
All right, that's it for us this week. We're
Smash the buttons.
subscribe, do all the fun stuff, and because we're not going anywhere, whether you want or not. Like we're doing this for free, so whether you do those things or not, you're still going to see our faces. So you might as well follow along and enjoy. And we're just going to keep betting. We're going to get better and better. Like today, we shaved off time. We're keeping it tight. We're finding our rhythm. You know what I mean? So
We need to
hit your
get.
hit your wagon.
Yeah, we're just getting our reps in. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll chat soon. Until next time.